Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Reaper Talk. And the first guest was who would have thunk that Sherry would be the first one? So just give me a minute here, and I'm gonna pop in here. There we go. I had to switch over from headset to whatnot. But good evening.
Good evening, I mean, hi.
I almost said that. I almost said the same thing.
Great minds think alike.
I suppose so. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Obviously, I'm just gonna unfortunately, it's time sensitive.
Yeah, unless I just kidnap you and you don't go back to work. So I'm just kidding.
Considering the fact he said we're super busy tonight, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So I guess the first question is probably the first thing that probably everybody wants to know when it comes to the world of 5M. I love that. Why the the infatuation into the MC life? Like, what drove that? Is that some sort of fetish or something?
Wow.
I had to throw some comedy in there because that's just part of the aspect.
Oh, let me get a fan on here. No, just kidding. Actually, it is something I've always liked motorcycles for real. Always had I never owned one. I've had friends that have owned them. I've ridden on them and I love them, but I never owned one myself. And I got into it when I first joined Cuffs, and the Lost was there, and I yeah, that's how I got into it.
The
Was
who, the what, the where, the why?
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of makes sense. So
Mhm.
I'm assuming that after all of that, that's basically well, no, because like fast forward, you didn't really get into the whole Suns aspect until after we actually watched it for like the first time around. So
Until I watched it with you, I had never watched a single episode of Sons.
the question being is compared to the life that you live in the 5M world, I guess the safe thing to say is that if you look at reviews, that according to MC Law, that show wasn't nowhere near what it's like. But that's the issue that Kurt Sutter had with that was Kurt Sutter is an ex-member of a club. That's what prompted him to start the show to begin with. He lived the life. He knew all about it. That's why he said on numerous occasions in interviews that when people say that he's offended by it because those are just posers who think they know but they really don't. So view ratio is kind of low at the moment, but I'm assuming it's because two very famous people are streaming at the moment. Still, I do believe. Um,
I think there's at least three streams going on over there.
I think they got Rye, X, and Promise. So,
Hmm.
yeah, X, Rye, and Promise, and I think Gaming Bros is still going. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's still going.
But in the next aspect of it is when you mentioned before, and this was long before the departure, that your interest in roleplay was growing stale. Why?
Oh.
Hi, Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Mike. Well, there was some real life stuff that happened. I don't want to get into it. There was a relationship that had gone south, and the person played on there as well. And I just wanted nothing to do with it anymore. I lost my love for it, lost anyone to do anything with it. Then came along you, and it was just like, oh, well, okay,
A,
let's try this.
a refreshed course, and now look at that. You got hundreds of people who like watching that shit.
Yeah, and are so hooked on that storyline that I left it up to a vote in my Discord on what should happen next. And until everything that happened last night, we'll just leave that aside and shove it under a rug. It's never to be spoken of again. Um, all of my viewers want to see the story continue.
It's funny you mentioned that because the when I mentioned 25 different ideas, one of them really came to mind is how, well, you have about 24 hours to prepare for it, which kind of sucks. But
Okay.
that whole that see what everybody was looking at was how bad things were getting in the sour points. So and everything was getting sour and sour and soured between like the two characters to where that distance was put, and everyone's like, huh? And everyone's
Yeah.
thinking that that glue's going back. So then you mentioned the whole renewal of the vows. Well, you got about 16 and a half hours to prep for that.
Oh, Jesus.
Because that's what the next stream is going to be based around. And on top of that, we're going to piggyback off of that with the other two.
Okay.
So,
Hey, that works. I'm glad you're giving me a heads up now.
because now there's two weddings. Not just one, there's two. In one stream.
Oh, goodness sakes. All in one. All right.
So the Texan idiot's not going to have much of a choice but to finally just say, you know what, fuck it. Even like I didn't hold out, but this guy. Like, what the fuck is his problem?
Well,
He like it's at the aspect,
going
hit it and quit it, motherfucker. Like, okay, no, like, don't do that.
kind of going off of how things got so went so awry with our characters. I think it was basically a lot of the stress you and I both were under with what happened on different servers.
It was the fact that we were moving three different times. First,
Yeah.
the first time around, it just happened based off the fact, well, alcohol does very
Mm.
reductive things to the mind and causes stupid things to happen.
And I'm going to publicly say this right now in front of everybody and the interwebs. I forgive you. It shit happens. I forgive you.
That wasn't even supposed to happen in your Discord. I honestly thought I was in mine until I looked up at the like, oh fuck, and I was like, ah shit. And then you said something, and then Onyx was in there, and I'm like, god damn.
It's okay.
So
It
like,
happened.
but anywho, on top of all of that, I think what basically everything was going well with the roleplay, but I think what happened was that when we intensified, see the thing is people weren't accustomed to seeing the Lost RP getting that intense.
Yeah.
They're not used to seeing that. They're used to seeing, you know, I love Rebel, but sitting there for 3 hours, they're used to him sitting there for 3 hours, literally feeding robotic information to his little robots at the table. And it's just like, uh huh, okay, uh huh, uh huh, uh huh, repeat, go ahead, done.
Sadly, I think there was a couple of meetings that I was actually at where he did kind of. I love Rebel to death, but he can rattle on and on and on, and I'm just.
He does do that.
I would sit there and I would be kind of like
Two
one
ch-
eye open.
two meetings in particular that we had. One of them I fell asleep because I just couldn't stand the rambling on anymore. And I was like sitting there and I was on push to talk and I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap while he just finishes this. And I'm like that's it. But I think that where it really took to new heights and everybody was liking it is like when Mark decided to kill Murky off, and I'm just like, this was happening during a stream, and I'm like, you want me to do this? He was sending me a message on Messenger, and I'm like, you want me to do this? He's like, yeah. I'm not gonna be around. I'm a welder, dude. I don't have time for this stuff anymore. So I guess it's an
Yeah.
official announcement. He's not coming back to any server. He's not doing roleplay anymore. So he kind of made that clear the other night when we talked. So there isn't gonna be any, and if there is, it's gonna be a very pleasant surprise. So that the in memory of Murky Patch was necessary. Um, but the aspect of that, the funeral, I think, had a lot of great views on that. I don't think that's ever been done. That's a lot of
Yeah.
planning. That's a lot of everything.
Um, it was done. There was one funeral since I was actually on that server for almost 2 years, well, over 2 years at that point. There was one other funeral, and it was for a firefighter character.
Yeah, that was the one that you didn't like talking about much, which was totally understandable. I mean, Burns was like the king of just having things come out of nowhere, but then again, I did that all the time. So, at least when I did it and it was on stream, people liked the fact of the element of surprise. Like, whoa, what the hell? That's why I don't predict things and why when things happen, you're just like, huh, what, why? It's the element of surprise, and that's just how basically I've been. When I do role play with people, it's their responsibility at that point. When something happens, it's their responsibility to fill in the gaps of what they think they should do next. They pick the scenario.
Hmm.
And that's what I kind of think Tanner did in that aspect when I was on top of that Vinewood sign. He went after you. He went after the fact of like, she's taking off. He's gonna fall off that thing. She's gonna feel guilty later. And then he just went into the shouting match and all of that stuff.
And it just went from there. But
And
hearing
then
the
and
whole
then
video,
and,
wow,
and
that was
then exactly. And then in came Mr. F39 over here with I think I know why she's afraid of heights and why she doesn't feel well.
Nick, thank you for that storyline idea there, bud.
Yeah, that one's been the hardest one to play out since because it's kind of hard for me to stare through a window and invisible children.
Yeah, that is. It's hard for me too.
I'm like, I'm talking to nothing or looking at nothing, literally. And I'm like, this is unhealthy. People are like, what are they talking about? What are they looking at? Who are they talking to? What are they talking about? Invisible babies.
Yeah. So with you
Let
streaming
the let
the
this
whole,
let this be
but
clear,
you're
guys.
talking to yourself though.
And Nick, this is never going to happen, and I'm sorry, we love you. There is a toddler script. We're never
Yeah.
touching the goddamn script.
No.
I'm not walking around with a baby in my hand. God forbid I get shot, baby dead.
Oh my god, no.
Toddler down. And yeah, I think YouTube would frown upon that. Very
I
much
think
so.
so too.
Killing of children.
No, that's just horrible.
So I think what's going to wind up happening is this, and you guys can agree to disagree. We're going to have to write off that part as if it never happened. Only because it's too difficult to role play out. And I know that Sherry's like sitting there like, huh, what?
It
But
was a good it was a good experiment. It was,
it
the
was a
role play
very
up until
it was a
the
very good
role
experiment.
the role play up until
Was really
Brittany
good
was supposed to be born was really good.
until
But
they were
then you
born.
can see past that
we,
going, how are you gonna do this shit later?
until we saw the script, Bradders found that script, and he saw a baby bump script. I'm like, you're an asshole. And Sherry's like, that'll never happen again. That will never. Well, you never know. They're horn dogs. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Nick, he's fine with it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fine with it. I came up with the idea. It was successful. It was used. I don't care.
It was actually a lot of fun. It
what
was a
we
lot of fun.
what we could role play the fact out is that like it's gonna happen with the next stream later on tonight. If I'm home by at least 2, I'll do it. You know.
Okay.
Um, it'll it's gonna be basically starting out. Josh is gonna be at the cemetery, and unfortunately, what none's beknownst to the family, which you're obviously this is out of character, which means your characters are gonna know nothing about it. Is how what's gonna wind up happening is he's gonna he had nomads dig up his father and had him buried with the rest of his family. As confusing as that may sound, it goes with the aspect of change and how he changed himself and basically how that guilt how it crippled him so bad to where okay, killing his dad was like the worst thing other characters could watch happen. That was witnessed by not just his former president and his former brother, but it was also witnessed by his own wife and
Yeah.
the VP of the other club. And it's like this guy just shot his dad point blank range, and just bloodied up a very nice couch.
I know. I like that couch.
And that just is just like that's his dad. Like no matter what he did, it was just like. But the aspect ratio is that he's gonna understand why his dad did it, and there's gonna be a reason, and people are gonna see that. If people are awake long enough to see it, if not, they'll see it tomorrow and be like, It's going to be Josh basically redeeming himself, not just as a person, but as a husband, as a brother, as a friend, as everything. That it's going to be a very big redemption point to where things are going to kind of twist back to how they were on Cuffs, but in a different sense to where it's going to be in a different area. So it's okay, Bella. You're good. No need to get upset about it. Max, what's going on, man? Um, but it's going to be very interesting where that's going to take because it may stir up some things with him and Sherry because she's very, very. At that point, she's at the point in her in the character section. What? My mom walked in.
Oh.
She thought I got off early. I'm like, hell no. Anywho,
I wish.
yeah, I wish I could get home this early. That'd be nice. But the aspect is it may stir up a little bit of drama between the two because at this point I kind of see it in her tone of voice. She's becoming very protective of him with people hurting him and twisting his head around and everything else. And I kind of feel like she's going to feel like it's the guilt of his dad twisting him up, and now all of a sudden he's going to turn direction of what everything's going to go, and it's going to all crumble down. And that's when he has to play the part that he's always played, which is everything is going to be fine. So it's going to be one of those moments, but it won't last very long. But you guys will all see it. I know a lot of you, it's Friday night. Everybody's up late on Friday night, so we'll see that. Which brings to the next question when it comes to the roleplay section. So in the aspect, like, do you feel like, in a sense, kind of like if once the server opens up and people come in and want to actually join the club, do you feel bad that the bylaws that are written state you're actually the only woman to represent the Reaper? How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, special because, I've been here the entire time as we've talked about even having another club elsewhere as well before it even became the whole SOA idea. Um, how I feel about it? If you look at bike clubs, females usually aren't
They're usually
members or officers or anything like that. They all just used to be, um,
They're usually hang-arounds, bartenders, or
yeah,
what they're usually called, or what are crow eaters, which are pretty much ones that are basically if a one member comes up and says "suck my cock," that's usually how that works,
that's usually what they
and
do.
that's usually how that works.
Yeah, think of bands with groupies. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. So in the aspect of all of that, I might be rewriting some bylaws, guys. So if you are willing to wanting to join the server, there's going to be a join link once I can get Bradders to pretty up my Discord once again. Server access. You guys want to come on and join the Suns? Our latest member is Sky, who's usually in here. I'm kind of concerned why his company hasn't been around lately. Um, hope he's doing all right.
Me too.
He's been
I haven't heard from him lately.
he's been
He had internet issues last night.
Oh, that makes sense. But he's our latest member and one of the founding members. We're already at, so it's like myself, Sherry, Dom, Bradders, and Sky. So we have five right now. We need a founding nine, so we need four more. So if you guys are interested in hopping in, feel free to send Bradders a message. And appreciate that, Bella. Much appreciated. Give Bradders a DM. He'll send you, obviously, a link to the Discord. Fill out an application, all that good stuff. It's simply for Civ only. All of our departments are covered pretty much. I think I still hold Chief of Police. I don't know.
You have to talk to Bradgers about that.
I don't know.
As of right now, we're only looking for civilians. That's it.
Yeah, civilians at the moment. I think all departments, as far as whitelisted, are pretty much upheld by certain standards. Bradders hasn't mentioned anything changed in my small absence, so At least I don't think he did. The Discord might tell me something. God, my eye is sore.
Well, if you. No, I'm going to be nice.
Better be nice.
I am nice. Usually.
Yeah. 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 So. Yeah. So pretty much, I have all departments. He just basically was so busy all day. He just hadn't had a chance to tag everything, which I'll just wind up doing myself later. Um. Oh my god, man. Oh my god. But yeah, if you guys are open for civilian stuff, we're starting that up. I'm gonna be doing some other things tonight aside from just the a roleplay aspect. I want to also do some testing of the jobs from the ESX, which I don't think any of them have been tested. I think that'd be the smart thing to do before I decide to, because there is a warehouse script I really want, and I'm willing to buy the damn thing. But once we know that the other ones work, then we can work on that. Um,
Now, I'm not sure where Bradders is with the whole jobs ESX thing, so that
I
would
asked him
be
earlier.
something.
Me and him had a conversation when you were at dinner.
Okay.
Um, what was going on was that is that he hasn't gotten around to test all of them, but he says that they do work.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be testing them one at a time. I might do a dev stream or I might do the ARP save the RP for morning. I'm not sure, but whichever comes first or whichever one I'm in the mood for at the time, I'll wind up doing. Excuse me. Where the fuck's my Streamlabs? Oh, there it is. And I just clicked off the damn screen. There we go. But yes.
I just posted the link to the SAC website as well.
Obviously, if you're joining Civ and you want to join the MC and be a part of the story, obviously that comes up to a club vote. That's how everything works.
Mhm.
Luckily, with the other 4 slots that are open, those are for member slots for founding.
Hey, Thomas.
Those four openings are officer spots, which are the rest of the founding 9. And then after that, that's when prospects start opening. So, which I have to create the prospect rockers for those myself because I'm stupid and didn't order any. um, well, I did, but that was for the other server, and those patches look like tinfoil. But then again, prospects aren't meant to look pretty, so
That's true.
I'm
Let's
gonna
just see what you got.
I will level with all of you. Prospecting for the Suns is not a cakewalk. Unlike in the Lost, where everybody felt they were butthurt with it, it's going to be the exact same thing with the Suns. Because if you watch the show, the prospects were treated like utter dirt.
Yeah, but this time we're not going to go so severe as shooting people
I
again.
didn't start that. That was all you.
No, well,
That was all you. I was more
Well,
fond of the aluminum shampoo, but okay.
I
Um,
think that was the thing with Panda. He kept asking for it. Literally, he did. He could shoot me. Okay.
yeah, he literally would just say, "Shoot me, get it over with, whatever it is," and that just kind of led to a whole bunch of things. And but
And
anywho,
that's
with
a
all that
lot of things nobody took into consideration was Panda was egging it on.
with all that being said, prospecting for us won't be a cakewalk, but we're not gonna be bad. It's simple work. You've given a task, just do it. A member
Yeah.
asks you to do something, just do it. It's that simple. And they'll ask nicely about it unless they're in a shit mood. Don't take it personally. It's all RP. It's not real life. It's
Exactly.
and if you guys would like, I will be running through the skinning of the cuts thing over again to show you guys about skinning and stuff. I kind of felt like I went through that fairly quickly to where well then again I couldn't really do it properly because FileZilla was being a total twat. So I think it's still being a twat. So Bradders I think had to send a message to Zap about it, but he's been busy and I think he's waiting. Well, the last time he tried to send it, he didn't hit send.
Oh, jeez.
So his response was like, "Why didn't they reply?" "Oh, I didn't hit send. I thought I did." He said he hit send, but it didn't send.
Oh, Don, be safe down there. And yeah, we're
Yes,
getting really bad
yeah.
rainstorms.
I was getting weather alerts for those tropic areas, so be safe, brother. I will be ordering other things such as liveries for my bike anyway, simply for the fact I'm the only member that uses the Dyna. So
I actually do use it. I have it saved.
I thought,
I can
okay, I
do it.
thought you converted back to the other one, so I was like,
No,
ah,
no.
I didn't want to order that many. But then again, it's just a duplicate basically. Bradder said something about them as not if they're not something something, it won't work. But if they're designing them for that specific bike, they'll work.
The vehicle has to be able to be mapped.
It should be able to be mapped if they manage to get the thing to skin over the Averus. So
Okay.
they wouldn't make it if it couldn't be skinned over. That wouldn't make any sense. But other than that, if you guys, okay, next question because I'm still got plenty of time to ask, so I will start
Yeah,
asking
we've
things
got
that
plenty of time for questions.
the evil angel is on the screen. What's the fudge was I going to ask? Why is this? Okay, I'm gonna drag this over here now because it's just being a pain in the ass.
I do like that background, by the way.
I love that. Wait,
Who
what?
did
This
that?
one or the other one?
Your angel. I love. That's another one of my things is fantasy artwork.
Yeah, it's dope. I really like that.
Yeah, it's really damn cool. Of
But
course, people in my Discord have probably noticed a lot of that too.
I guess the next question. Okay, I'm not even gonna ask why that's there. The next question I should throw in there is where, like, what do you, where do you see, or how far do you see the actual story going?
I don't know. Until we both just get sick of it, I guess. I don't know.
That's the problem. I don't think we have that ability.
I don't think we have that ability either. I've, it's one of those we are such good friends, and yeah, we have our moments, but we always come back stronger from it.
This is very true.
I like to think.
And I think that's why so many people don't want to see it go under is because it's interesting because it's always twisting, it's always turning, it's always going this way, it's always going that way, and it's just like, huh, wait, what, huh, what happened? And then there's that I wouldn't say confusion, but
Hey, Tater.
taters there.
Tater's in the chat.
I'm on biker mods at the moment, just looking at stuff as I'm asking questions.
I'm watching chat as usual.
Hello, tater. But
But how far in the future? I don't know. I mean,
I would.
it, it
The only thing I could say is that at some point, I kind of feel like even if it happens on accident, one of those characters is going to meet an untimely demise. That's just going to like if it happens during an RP, we don't have a choice. We can't just hit revive. If that person gets hit and they're down, they're either wounded or dead. Now, the hardest thing to dictate is whether or not should they be dead from that or just wounded.
yeah.
Those are the only two things that I can really find
Maybe.
to be difficult.
Um, yeah. And the way I feel about that is right at this moment in time, I am not ready to end my character. No, not by a long shot.
And I would simply agree with that note on my end, only for the simple fact. What the hell? Oh,
They
that's
can't hear me.
that.
Why can't they hear me?
What do you mean they can't hear you?
They were saying they couldn't hear me. Yeah, Tater said she couldn't hear me.
Should be loud and clear. We're in the same Discord call.
Yeah, I know.
They actually have. They actually have. They actually have the bike on here now from Jax's last ride.
Oh man, that's cool.
I might get that for future reference. It's just for the simple fact, maybe like 10 years from now. Um,
10 years from now.
10 years from now.
Well, they're saying I'm really quiet.
Yeah, you gotta maybe speak up or adjust your mic, maybe.
My mic's as loud as it can go.
I get. I guess. Okay, here's a good one.
What?
and this is for anybody to answer here, anybody in the chat or even Sherry to answer. When we're in certain situations in the stream and I just randomly pick music to play for that specific scene, does that make it seem more TV-like or just plain sloppy?
I love it.
Ray, it's because I'm medicated now. I pretty much spoke with several doctors today. I had a group therapy session, and I was pretty much punched in the face mentally. Yeah. Pending on the viewer. Bella says sloppy.
So did Mike. Mike!
How are you gonna say sloppy? Because I think a lot of when I play the music, I think sometimes it's because I forget that after the song is over, I kind of forget to hit the pause button. And the thing is, I have one on my damn keyboard.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey,
I
Brandon.
think it just depends on what's going on.
Yeah, if it's a situation like if he's riding on his own, he's pretty much in that thought process in his head, and the song fits the situation, then it fits. Or if they're all riding off somewhere and it's like an intense situation, by all means, I will throw something in there. But some of you may not know, a lot of those tracks come from the show itself. So, and a couple of them that sounded, a lot of the female songs are pretty much Gemma.
Yeah, I did not realize she sang that stuff.
A lot of the soundtracks on there were all hers. So, oh, I think one of them was Tara's too. Um, Eyes of the Angel, I think was that, or Arms of the Angel, or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but it doesn't matter to me. I love music. So when I came up with Sons, it wasn't to mimic the show in any word of the aspect. It's just the fact that the way the show ended, I was a bit pissed off because when I watched it for the first time, I was in utter tears because like for someone to for if anyone hasn't seen the show, you should. It's just the ending just confuses and it's just like it's god awful. So what I felt like doing was, and I'm not afraid of a copyright infringement. I know everybody likes to be genuine, but the idea was to basically advance 20 years into the future after the events of that, to where pretty much anybody from that standpoint is nothing more than a distant memory, but the club stays active. Now, that's not really infringement if anybody could look at it through a pair of eyes. It's more of like, that's, it's creativity.
Yeah, and if you've watched the Mayans and you've seen what's left of the Suns, it's like they're almost dead.
It's not really that they're almost dead. It's just Chibs was very particular about who he chose to ride with him and who didn't. And the only two charters that you really see or hear from are from Sam Bernardino and Charming. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, Tucson's gone or Sam Taz is gone. You know, Utah doesn't show up. None of that. But then again, they're cameos. They're not actual. But I'm going to basically start basing this off a 20-year future. I know Bradders was kind of like thinking it has to be genuine, but it is genuine. But at the exact same time, it can't be genuine and it can't be sophisticated if I'm not using some sort of aspect from the past. Otherwise, the whole concept makes it sound like, well, I'm rocking a rocker from something that I'm not a founder of.
Right.
So, and if it's a fictional character, not real, I can understand if we were basically mimicking the Hell's Angels. I say fuck that, but I don't need a Hell's Angel knocking on my door and putting a shotgun to my chest. So, quote unquote piney. Whoops. Um,
I agree with Northern on this one. Do what you want and forget the naysayers.
and you know what? I'm not saying Bradders is a naysayer. He's a realist, very smart kid. But at the exact same time, he'll understand where I'm coming from the aspect. Because like, if I feel like my character started something that already existed someplace else, that would it looks bad if some viewers come in like, you're not a founder of that. That was founded by this, this, and this. Then I will start establishing history. That's not an issue. The only thing that most people worry about, well, what about copyright? Kurt Sutter's the coolest freaking cat you'll ever see. The only time he's ever sued somebody is when they made knockoff merchandise, which is quote unquote like the cut I have in real life, but it was made in England and it had top, middle, bottom rocker and a bunch of crap on it, and people were out there selling it and it pissed them off. But well, you guys will see small little bits of the story kind of get interwoven there somewhere. And with that being said, at least then that kind of avoids a it kind of avoids bringing in the aspect of a TV show. So if I'm throwing little pieces here and there, it's just basically like little crumbs of like, for example, we're staying out of drugs because that's what Teller wanted.
Right.
That kind of aspect, which is something he wanted to stay away from. Drugs and well, guns was a harder transition. That's a lot of profit. Everybody knows that in the world of outlaws and outlawing in general. But with that being said, tonight's going to take a direction that you guys won't see coming obviously. I've described some of it, but I've been known to twist and turn things with my very sophisticated head.
Yeah, you're good at that.
And I'm very good at that. Obviously, that's why I have so many subscribers at this point. I know how to tell a story and write things and keep it fresh and not stale. The only time it ever gets stale on my end is if I'm just really freaking tired, or if just like at that point I ran out of juice. Bella has a question. Are you Spanish or Italian? I am both. I am Irish, Italian, German, Polish, and Puerto Rican. In other words, I'm a mutt. So that if that answers that question as freely as I possibly can there. But that's she's like, ooh. Oh shit, female attention incoming.
Oh goodness.
But though the roleplay is gonna maintain consistency, guys. I'm gonna try and put out streams every other day instead of, days at a time without stuff. And I would also like Sherry to do the same thing. I don't want her channel bellying up simply because I know what she does. I know why she does it. I don't like it because it kind of ruins the sense of competition. LOL.
Oh, I thought
Well, the thing is, she's already like 12,000 steps ahead of me, so it doesn't even matter at this point. It's me and Bradders are the ones that are at the fight to the finish. I think she's purposely doing it so me and him catch up, and it's a three-legged race at that point.
I think that would be actually fun,
but
I'm dealing with some PC issues at the moment.
I've noticed that, and I'm gonna help her fix that because what I've been doing on my spare time. Little does she know, I may as well let the cat out of the bag now. I have been going to about half a dozen different part stores in the Chicagoland area looking for PC parts, the best ones that I could possibly find for a cheaper rate. So when she has her stimulus and lets me know which one she thinks she needs, I will send them to her, and all she has to do is pay for the parts. A couple places that came to mind were Fry's Electronics, and I've actually found a fucking Radio Shack.
They exist?
There is one that exists, and it's in a mall. Downtown, like it's hidden from like all the the last of its kind, as they call it.
Radio Shack. They do exist.
Yes, they do exist, very much so.
I have to get my laptop fixed. I have no idea what I did to it, but that's going to be happening when I.
My advice from when I saw that thing when we came down to visit, my advice was gonna say smash that bitch with a fucking hammer.
That was a gift.
That thing is pancaked. Oh yeah, I still have to get my laptop, but the thing is $3,000, so.
What I was really hoping for was a gaming laptop, and it's in Lenovo.
It's the thought
Most
that
likely.
counts.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts. It was a surprise. I did not expect my parents to do that, and they actually made me cry. I do that. I cry. You surprise me, I cry. I hate it.
Yeah, she hates the element of surprise. But with all of that being said, guys, so there's a lot to expect coming between today, well, earlier tomorrow morning, meaning in the next couple hours or so once I'm done with work and stuff. Um, I think since my boy is here this weekend, I think throughout the day we'll do something fun as a group, maybe. Something that I know he'll really, really like doing. Maybe we could do like an art stream where he could just. I want him, and the biggest thing, and I know this is gonna sound cheesy as shit, but what I want him to do is if I'm doing one of the art stuff, I want to have him color something and I'm gonna have him play with. I'm gonna have my hand over his hand on the mouse, and it's gonna say "Get well, mommy" on it. We're gonna print it out and give it to her. Then I'm gonna drop him off. His mom,
Aw, that's cute.
his mom came down with a cold that he gave to her. I'm not a sourpuss. It's like I've told you guys before. I am very as much as what happened to me hurt me. I still love his mom in some way, shape, or form. That's the mother of my kid. That there's gonna be that part that's always gonna be like there. Even though it may not be there for her, it's there for me. I'm just that kind of person. She gave me a beautiful son. I can't say nothing else about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna act like I don't care, and I've told her to her face for what it's worth. I still care about you, and she had this cheesy grin on her face. But ever since then, we've kind of gotten along better. To where
That's
she,
good, though.
so I'm kind of really happy about that. To where like we're on a level where we can have conversations through text message that don't turn into like, gee, thanks for pressing my buttons or shooting me in the chest. But with all of
Or
that being said,
phone calls that turn into screaming matches. I've heard a couple of those.
yeah, I don't want any more bad blood between me and her than there already was when she left. That was purely my fault that what happened, and I see that to this point nowadays, and she's happier where she's at, and I'm happy for her, and that's all I could really say on the matter.
That's good. That's
Um,
good, though.
but with that being said, just stay. If you guys are awake, stay tuned for around. I would say maybe 2:30, maybe 3. That's when I will be going live with everything. Um,
Fabulous. Thanks.
just make sure I ask of Sherry before Bradders hits the sack that he sees if he could figure out what the hell is going. Or as a matter of fact, I'm
He's
gonna.
still awake. He's still testing stuff on the server, so just shoot him a message.
I will hand him the Nomad stuff for him to put in, since I can't access FileZilla. I got no access to it. He'll just have to just drop and drag and drop the stuff. Since I can't until he gets the information from Zap as to why it's being a crackhead. um,
Okay.
but we're gonna close this one out. So this is actually the first one. So if you guys would like to be the next person on Reaper Talk, you can send me a DM through Discord, and we can.
How often are you going to do these?
Well, today is Friday, so I'm gonna shoot for Fridays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So I'm gonna try to do at least 3 inside of a certain. I'll change the pattern up. You guys will see it once I start scheduling streams out. So if you guys want to be a guest on here and have the opportunity to talk with me and stuff like that, if you're in my Discord, send me a DM. We'll schedule it up. It'll be first come, first serve, just like it was today. I'm not gonna basically go seeking people. So all that aside, guys, I'm gonna get out of here for the night. Drop a like, subscribe, favorite, all that good stuff. Ow, I just hit my hand on the stupid headset. It's titanium.
Alright.
And yeah, um,
I will throw the link up to San Andreas Courageous up again. That's for applications. We are only looking for civs at this time. All of the requirements are in there. Y'all are more than welcome to join us. We could use all the civs we can to test stuff.
yes, absolutely. With that being said, guys, You guys obviously know the drill. The description has everything you need. And, you know, if you guys always want to chat, I have Discord. The Discord link probably it's going to expire tonight. I got to put up a whole new one. But people on my Discords that have admins and everything else could send you the guys the link and all that good stuff. I got to get out of here before so I can get my freaking work done. And yeah, guys, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys in what? It's 11 now, 12, 1, 3 hours. Yeah, just about 3 hours.
About. Be safe, please.
Oh yes. No more propane. No more propane in the eye tonight. No more propane.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.